morning, everyone. I'm Tom Meyer, President and CEO of Archer Exploration. Got about 10 minutes to quickly walk you through the Archer story, and we're nickel sulfide exploration and development in Ontario and Quebec. The investment highlights, there's two pieces to the Archer story. We've got our Grisette project. It's 100% owned. It's got a 43101 resource on it, 1.53% nickel equivalent, 5.5 million tons off the highway, Abitibi Greenstone Belt. We also have a significant large portfolio in the Sudbury camp, well-established nickel production over the years, but our focus is on Grisette. And the investment case with Grisette and with Sudbury is the untested potential. There's a lot of room to grow this resource. It's early days for us. This is a 2012 vintage discovery, and we've been exploring, and recent results over the past year or so is pointing to there's a lot more nickel to be found. And just at a high level, Ontario, Quebec are great places to search for nickel sulfide, and particularly in Quebec with our great relationships with our First Nations neighbors. It's a fantastic place to be. We've got a very strong team of technically competent individuals, a lot of experience in the nickel space as well, with many years of experience. The macro environment I'm not going to really touch on. We've got the tailwinds of a very significant developing demand for nickel as it relates to whether it's EV or if you're Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos sending rockets to Mars. To orientate yourself, the Sudbury camp, 37 properties, 300 kilometers squared. That's not our focus. Our focus is on Grisette in the Abitibi, and you can see very well located in this area, not too far from the Glencore Matagami mine. So the story with Grisette, 2012 vintage discovery by Balmoral. Balmoral was acquired by Wallbridge Mining in 2020. Archer acquired the portfolio in late 2022. There was a resource. We're expanding that now. I think one of the key pieces with success with nickel projects is simple metallurgy, and that's what we've got. Some very preliminary work that's been done points to we can produce a reasonably high-grade nickel concentrate and respectable recoveries of 86% with all conventional technology. So this is a very doable project. We mentioned before, world-class jurisdiction, great place to be in Quebec. We're off the highway and power, water, all the infrastructure is not too far from our project. Just very quickly as it relates to the deposit, the red zones, here, that's the mineralized horizons, of which there are two. We call them H3 and H1. Currently, the bulk of the mineralization is in the H3. We are testing the extensions of these deposits at depth. The current resource has only been defined down to 550 meters. We're targeting at depth, but we're also targeting extensions, which we'll touch on very closely. So keep these steeply dipping red zones in mind. These were once horizontal. I won't spend too much time on this, but this deposit model is a komatiite flow. So a flowing lava, nickel contained in the lava, combines with the sulfur in the country rock. It's like a furnace that you see in a smelter. The nickel combines with the sulfur. It settles out at the bottom of these flow channels. We're trying to find the base of these flow channels. So you remember from the previous slide, steeply dipping horizons. This is horizontal. They were tilted vertically. So we're trying to understand where we are in that flow, and that is going to direct us to these high-grade sulfides. And this high-grade sulfide, which we're targeting, this would be the base of the flow base of the flow. And above that, where these would be 14% plus nickel sulfide, you get the disseminated, and then it settles out. It's immiscible. It'll settle out to the bottom just based on gravity. So our objective is to find out where that flow channel is going to collect the bulk of that nickel. And we use that by using geophysics and obviously testing these ideas with drilling. So what do we have to date? So in H3, this is a longitudinal, so cut through the H3 and H1, those slices. The bulk of the mineralization is currently in H3. What we're drilling to recently and through December, and we'll be starting up the program towards the end of this month, where we're targeting this area here where we had some fantastic success. We're testing for extensions here. And so we've got 98% of the existing resource has been defined in this area, essentially. And so now we're seeing what can this add? And by confirming that the geophysics is showing to the potential, and now as we further out with the drilling, we're showing that it's open at depth. And the deepest intercept to date is down to 775 meters, and that's 2.76% nickel. But the resource has been cut off on the math in the 4301-101 down to 550 meters. So our objective is to double and then ultimately triple in this area the resource at Grisette. So that is the Grisette deposit as it stands right now. And this map just to the right of this slide here. So we've got those two mineralized horizons, H1, H3, in this portion of our property. And through the work that we've done through the summer with Infinitem XL, some high-powered ground geophysics, we've got a very interesting plate 2 kilometers away at the N9 plate. Well, we'll be drilling that very shortly. It's a very, 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 very similar signature of what we're already seeing at H1. So double, triple the resource in this area here, and then expanding the potential and demonstrate the potential of this district and the property with this N9 target. And just to give a little bit of sense of the geometry, because this is all about geometry at the end of the day and finding these flow channels. The H3 and H1 horizons, you can see the bulk of that resource is in H3. As we go through and we spin this around, there's very little work has been done just by virtue of not having the time, and this is where we're at right now. But this is the focus for us right now at H1, extending that and adding volume as we've seen in H3, and extending that not only just at depth, but then out in this direction as well. Just very briefly, in addition to Grisette, we've got a significant land package in Sudbury, which I'm just going to mention at a high level. Lots of opportunities, over 130 years of mining activity in the Sudbury camp. We are analyzing that portfolio and prioritizing targets. Our number one most advanced target is the Parkin project, which is on this end of the range of the Sudbury camp, and we'll be announcing shortly plans for how we're going to approach our Sudbury opportunity portfolio. But the focus for us is Grisette, double, triple the resource, and a secondary focus is the Sudbury Basin. Any additional questions? We've got a detailed presentation on our website. The ticker for Archer is RCHR. We trades on the CSE. We're on LinkedIn. We post on Twitter. We're open to any questions at any time. Roughly a $10 million market cap, $2 million in the bank as of September. We raised another $2 million in November of last year, and we'll be commencing a drill program before the end of this month. Thank you very much.